All right, welcome back to Every Sport Today. Today, we have a very, very special guest on the podcast. I don't know how YouTube and Clips is going to pick this up, but we are joined by the one and only Hatsune Miku. Welcome to the podcast, Hatsune Miku. We're thrilled to have Hatsune Miku as a part of the podcast today, joining the Every Sport Today network for the first time. Hatsune, anything to say?
I would move it around, but I don't want it to fall over.
No, don't move it around. You just have to speak for it.
Sekai Day. What is up, deadheads? How's it going? You know
How do you
who it
say
is.
how do you say what is up, deadheads in Japanese?
Uh, Dedu Hedu,
Close enough.
Ohio.
Ohio, Sigma is. All right. We have Hatsune Miku joining us on the podcast, also known as Chandler, the NBA expert. I don't know how in the lore of Hatsune Miku, how much does she know about the NBA?
I don't know if she's done any collabs with NBA. That'd be kind of hype, though. I'd
That
buy
would
a
be sick.
Hatsune Miku jersey.
Well, the 6 degrees of separation kind of thing. They have like LeBron James in Fortnite. Hatsune Miku is now in Fortnite. So technically they're connected that way through Fortnite.
That's true.
Yeah. Like you could probably put Hatsune Miku in a LeBron James jersey in Fortnite. Think about
Fortnite is like the world tree of
it.
media. It's where it all converges into. It's a source of everything.
Everything at some point or another gets converted into Fortnite.
And if they have like a regular season game in Japan, they'd throw Miku in there in some capacity.
Oh,
Guaranteed.
100%. Yeah. That'd be hype. We
Yeah,
could we should
oh
get
yeah,
that
it
set
would,
up.
dude.
Just send the Lakers over there. That way it's LeBron, you got Rui Hachimura,
Uh,
and
Oh, true,
you're
true.
good.
And Memphis, and you have the rookie guy, the short guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you get what's his name? He's fun. I like him.
It's
I'm
like
looking his name up real quick.
Utah something, I think.
Yuki Kawamura. Kawamura.
Okay, Yuki
Yeah,
Kawamura. All right.
yeah. He's good. 5'8". So exciting. Glad he's on a roster. Yeah, NBA. We are here to talk about some basketball. We did basketball, what, 2 weeks ago now with the Luka trade? We're still gonna talk about some of the fallouts of the trades and stuff like that. This is mainly just we're way over, or we're over the midseason point at this point. All-Star break comes a little bit after the midseason, but some people look at it as halfway through the season. So we're doing sort of a up to this point season recap of the NBA, an All-Star break recap, as you may. Let's talk about the All-Star break first. You guys watched last night, right?
Sure did.
Let's talk about the McClung thing, okay? Because I have issues with the entire night. Last year they had the Steph versus Sabrina thing, which I thought was fun. They were going to try to do it with Caitlin Clark this year. They didn't. The 3-point competition kind of felt lame. The dunk contest felt like the McClung show again. The skills competition, we had Victor Wembanyama and CB3 just throw
Got
balls.
robbed.
And
You can say it. They got robbed. It's okay. You can say it.
I don't know if got robbed is the way I would put
No, they.
it.
Is that not like such a Spurs thing or Chris Paul thing to do,
It's a
though?
Chris Paul thing to do. It's not a Spurs thing to do.
It
That
was
is such a
so
Chris Paul thing.
optimal. That's so big brain. Adam Silver was there. He got mad that they cheated the system right in front of him. They're like, "Nah,
Yeah.
make a rule that says you can't do that." So not they said not a valid attempt. How do you determine that? What if they were just like quick little hook shots? You
Yeah,
know,
what if they just quickly grabbed him and threw him at the rim? Is that a valid attempt?
like
I don't
they
know.
played the system.
Here's the thing. When you have the start of the USA Canada hockey game that we had, oh, Hatsune's down. Hatsune's down.
You talked about hockey on a basketball podcast. She logged off.
Hatsune didn't like the USA versus Canada hockey game, I guess. Oh no. Listen, when you have the start of that game where there's 3 fights in 9 seconds, and then you look at Victor Wembanyama, who can just do anything on a basketball court, just like throw balls off to the side to like quote unquote win this competition the most effective way. It was staggering, and that's all that Twitter's been ablaze about. We'll talk about hockey later in the week, but we're here to talk about basketball. First off, obviously they've been talking about the slam dunk competition. They've been talking about the 3-point competition for years and years, and how the 3-point competition is now the main event, and now that's completely gone away. No one cares about the 3-point competition anymore.
Yeah.
Like, we'd rather see Caitlin Clark shoot threes than we would rather see Buddy Hield, right? Like
He
that's
was
kind of
kind of
where we're
cooking
at.
in the second round, though. I
He
mean, if you
was,
don't have Steph or Clay, little was in it, but
yeah.
he didn't really do anything. He was yawning on the bench. I don't know if you saw that.
I
He
did see
was
that.
so checked out.
That's what I'm saying. So we have these competitions. It's supposed to be this All Star Saturday night, and then you have the Rising Stars game before that, which now has this 4 different teams, kind of like the All Star game, which we'll talk about. But like, do you just feel like the NBA just needs to embrace the fact that hey, this is our All Star Saturday night, and there's no changing it, there's no like adjusting it. Like we're just going to have rookies come in and do dunk contests with McClung. Like, should they just start embracing this at this point, or should they actually try and find a fix?
Um, I think the fix has been right in front of them for years. They just won't do it. If you took out everything on a Saturday night, even dunk contest, because like let's be honest, it's ever since the Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, it's kind of fallen off a
Yeah.
cliff. Mac McClung is doing his part to save it. You know, they thaw him out of the ice like Mariah Carey every year for a dunk contest from the G League. And like he does this thing and it's cool, but if you got rid of everything Saturday night and just put a one-on-one tournament,
Yeah.
instantly saved. Instantly. That would be more of a highlight than the All-Star game itself,
I saw this on Twitter and I'm stealing it. Uh,
as you do.
Brianna Stewart lost 11-0 in her one-on-one game in the WNBA thing that they're doing. That's one of the NBA. That's one of the WNBA's best players. That's a multiple-time MVP who got cooked 11-0. I'm worried that that would happen in the NBA's version of that as well.
That's why they don't do it. I mean, I know
Exactly.
why they don't do it because on one hand, there's so many players that would take the chance to do it because of pride and how skilled they are in a one-on-one scenario,
Yeah.
like Kyrie, like KD, like Devin Booker, like Anthony Edwards. But then there's the ego players that if you got cooked by someone in front of a live audience of hundreds of thousands in the arena and on national television, everyone's watching you, because it's different than an in-game scenario where you get like help side defense or get switched off and you got put on an
Exactly.
island. You know, that's in the game, that just happens. But one-on-one, like first to seven or something, that would kill your ego as a player. So I get why they won't do it, but they should.
Some of the best players in the league right now get cooked in one-on-ones.
Yeah,
Like Jokic and Shea are 1 and 2 for MVP, whatever way you look at it. I think both of them would probably lose one-on-ones to a good amount of top level players.
I agree.
Ant is cooking Shea in a one-on-one.
Hmm.
I think AD probably handles a guy like Jokic in a one-on-one. Like there, it's a different atmosphere. So I like that idea, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the NBA needs to embrace a lot of the stuff that they are at right now. Like embrace the regular season. People sit out. It's fine. It happens. Embrace the All-Star game. Embrace everything. I just think that that's better than just changing it every 3 years. Do you agree or disagree with that?
I do. I mean, I think for on a casual level, it's hard to keep up with for people.
Exactly.
Like you have to tell them what's new and what's different every single year. It's like just get accustomed, just do what you've been doing.
Yeah.
Like I like the one person skills challenge, whatever. The 3-point contest was fine. You know, it is that can't really be changed too much. It is what it is.
Yeah.
And dunk contest is that's just a personnel thing. Like a lot of
Exactly.
it's more been about just like individual players winning it like 2 or 3 years in a row continuously. So it's
Yeah. Exactly. I have 2 thoughts. One for the 3-point contest. One for the dunk contest. Okay. The dunk contest thing. If we're just gonna bring in Mac McClung every year, why can't we just bring in like YouTubers who do like insane dunks, or just like TikTok guys? Like, why can't we just have it be a dunk showcase instead of a dunk contest? Do you? How do you feel about that idea? Where it's just like we just bring in guys who can dunk off YouTube, and say, hey, go put on a show for Victor Wembanyama, who's in the front row recording on his iPhone.
I think that would be more of like a Friday night thing because of the celebrity involvement stuff in the celebrity game. I think they could do that, but I don't think they'll
Yeah,
ever put like just straight YouTubers on the Saturday night because that's supposed to showcase NBA talent, not random dudes. They have enough influencers on there already, dude. They have like all these TikTokers and YouTubers holding the ball like through the car on ladders and shit like that.
yeah, like Jalen Brown dunking over Kai Cenat last year.
I thought that was the worst dunk contest attempt I've ever seen until yesterday.
until
Who's on the
Boozelis.
Bucks?
Oh,
I
you're
thought
not even talking
Uzelis was
about
fine.
Boozelis.
I thought he was fine. I like the one where he was gonna do it, the bounce around the backboard between the legs, catch it, whatever. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
But who's the Milwaukee guy?
Who was the Milwaukee guy? Dude, I don't even
Something
remember.
Jackson Jr., I think. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
trash. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, Andre Jackson Jr. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
Here,
was.
like, you just can't have that guy participating in the All Star game. I'd rather watch it or in the dunk contest. I'd rather watch a YouTuber who can do some sick stuff than watch that. That's I don't know. It's just my personal opinion, I guess.
I kind of
Uh,
agree. It's just from like a marketing standpoint.
yeah,
The NBA is pushing their brand. They're not gonna push some YouTuber. You know.
yeah,
I do agree with what you're saying, though. I think that'd be a lot better. People who are they practice those things every single day. They're gonna get
exactly.
it on the first two attempts and do some stuff you've never seen.
Yes, because that's what Mac McClung does. Mac
Right.
McClung's just a glorified YouTuber
That's kind of true.
because he made one game winner at Texas Tech against Texas and now gets a G League spot just so they can throw him into this game every year or this moment every year.
You think
So,
he likes it?
oh, 100%. Yes. This
You don't think
is,
he wants like an actual roster spot?
I think this is every white boy's dream. Come in and just show off that you can jump really high. You don't actually have to ball. You
That's
just come
fair.
in and go, hey, look, I can dunk. You don't think I can dunk because I'm white, but I can. Watch this. And then he goes out and jumps over a car and dunks. I don't think he actually cares about hooping.
Does he have a bag?
Not really.
Okay. I
Yeah.
I think I've seen maybe some of his highlights, but they've only been dunks, so I don't even know if he can like play like that.
No, not really. He doesn't really have good handles. He pulls up off the dribble from three a lot, is what I've noticed from like the things that I watched, especially in college and stuff, because he went to Texas Tech, and I watched a good amount of that team. But yeah, he's not good. He's not.
Okay. Then yeah, maybe this is good for him actually.
Yeah, exactly. 3-point contest. My thought process was like a game of horse where you just have a bunch of people shoot half court shots.
They used to have the
They used
horse
to have the horse. Yeah,
contest.
yeah. But like I'm not talking about that horse. I'm just saying you just have a bunch of guys who want to come out and shoot half court shots, keep shooting until like they all miss. Or just like really deep threes or something like that. And it's just like, all right, if you miss three times, you're out. And then it's just last person standing. That way it's just a slew of NBA guys just chucking up half court shots. I think this idea
Honestly,
is terrible, but
like
it would be funny.
I think if they did it in a way to where you can run anywhere in the 3 point, like beyond in between half court and shoot a 3 pointer, do like a catch and shoot.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't like it when they do it off the rack because those aren't in-game shots. So it nullifies a lot of the guys' abilities to get shots off the catch or off the dribble. If you can incorporate some stuff like that, like you know how Steph will do like a dribble turnaround three from like the logo,
Yeah.
do a contest of that. You get like 25 shots and whoever makes the most wins.
I wouldn't mind that. Or just like one of the racks be, hey, you get passes to the corner, like you get swing passes to the corner.
Right. Like
Uh
in-game shots.
yeah, exactly. The top of the key, you have to take a dribble, or it's like a you have to like grab the ball at half court and then like dribble up to the 3-point line and then pull up, right? Like stuff like that. You could pull
Yeah.
off. I think you could do that. Here's the thing. I think there are ways to change it. I also think that they should just embrace it and just do the same thing year over year and just not like deal with it. Like in MLB, for example, they have the home run derby. And yes, the rules of the home run derby have changed, but it's still a home run derby. So it's like just throw it out
Right.
there every year. If the rules change, the rules change. It's not really going to matter. It's just you have to embrace this and just say, hey, here it is. Here's the product. Enjoy it or not enjoy it. End of discussion. So, but they keep trying to just do something different and be quirky, which we hate the quirky girls.
True. And we hate the
So,
girls. I
and we
think
hate
they're
the
just trying
girls.
too hard at that point. Like
Yes,
I agree
exactly.
with what you're saying. Just stick to what you know. Like
And speaking of trying too hard, the All Star game has gone through like 12 different iterations. And now we have a team of first and second year players with Dalton Connect and I think Stephon Castle's on that team, coached by Candace Parker, versus LeBron, Steph, KD, because Shaq was just like, I'm just going to draft all the old guys. Also, real quick, did you see the draft stuff on the three teams of the All Stars? Did you see this?
I didn't watch it, but I heard about the teams after the fact.
Yeah. So the teams are like Shaq's OGs.
Oh
So he just
yeah.
took like LeBron, Steph, KD. Uh,
Uh-huh.
One of them has all of the like international guys, Yoke, everyone, right? And then one of them just has like all of the other young all stars, Anthony Edwards, so on and so forth, right?
Because it's a themed thing, right?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. They said that they drafted these teams. There's no way they like drafted it in this perfect scenario
Yeah, because
where
that
each
was
team has
that.
a theme.
Did they broadcast the draft live, or they just said, "Hey, these are the guys they picked. Here, we're
I
going to
think they
announce
just
them
say
now."
these are the guys that they picked. They
Okay.
just
I didn't
showed it.
watch that because in prior years they had actually did like a draft where they'd sit down and pick players. Because I
Yeah,
thought that was kind of weird how all the teams lined up like, hey, he only has old guys, he only has Europeans and Canadians and
exactly.
whatnot. Okay, that
It's
makes more sense then.
yeah, it's pretty dumb in my personal opinion. I like obviously this happened behind the scenes and they were just like, yeah, sure, just throw them in there, see what happens. Like it's not that big of a deal. But to like present it as a draft, I think is stupid. But also like you still look at the teams and it's like the young stars, it's a good team, but it's not Steph, KD, AD, LeBron, Tatum, and Lillard.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have that team, the Shaq OGs, who first has to play against first and second year players who aren't all stars. So yeah, I once again, it's just kind of them doing whatever they want to do and trying to mix up the format. I still think it's stupid. I don't know. Do you like? Are you more excited for it? Less excited for it? I also thought I saw that it was going to be 3-on-3, but I don't think it is. It's just normal 5-on-5, right?
Isn't it? I thought it was just 5 on 5
That's what I thought.
because
Yeah,
they have starting fives and then like a bench of three because
exactly.
it's 8 players a team, right?
Yeah, give or take. Yeah, 8 or 9 per team.
Because it's the 24 All-Stars and then the 8 players and the Rising Stars.
Yeah, yeah, 8 per team.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like it. I just again the thing they're trying too hard because the ratings are down to get people to be rejuvenated about the All-Star game. But the only thing people complain about outside of like the format changes is like the competitive integrity because there
Yeah,
really is none. Like there's no real incentives to play because back then you would just play for pride and to show you were better than this certain player and this certain team and this certain conference. And now they keep mix matching, and there's no real continuity. It's just a bunch of jumble. Like you can have
yeah,
LeBron, Steph, and KD on a team because they're in the West. Okay, cool. Then you throw in Eastern Conference players, and it gets kind of messy. You're not really the pride is kind of thrown out of the window at that point. You're just playing as individuals. You're
exactly.
not representing your conference or your team or division. So
Yeah, you're just going out there and playing for All Star Game MVP.
pretty
So
much.
yeah, which that's I think that's my biggest issue with the All Star Game right now is that people just get so ball hog heavy where it's like, hey, I'm going for the All Star Game MVP. And then there's like 3 other guys being like, well, hey, I've also made 8 3-pointers at the halftime. So I'm also going for All Star Game MVP.
For real.
And
And
you
it's like
just
a
get
3-point contest.
exactly. And then you just get 5 guys who are just like,
Burgers and fries.
yes, burgers. I was going to get 5 guys for dinner tonight, actually. But then I
Oh yeah,
remembered
I've
I have
never
to
had
cook my
it.
own chicken. You've never had 5 guys?
I can't justify buying it because it's so expensive.
It
It's
is
like
really
15
expensive.
bucks for like a burger, fry, and drink, right?
Yeah, it is expensive. Getting a full combo, it is expensive. But
Like I heard
Hatsune
it's
Miko's
good.
definitely had 5 guys before
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh, let me tell you.
in multiple ways. It's like the third Five Guys joke we've made in like the past 2 months on this podcast. What is wrong with us?
Channel identity right there.
Add it to the lore. Add it to the EST lore.
The ever expanding lore.
Uh, yeah, we're beating a dead horse about the All Star game. It is what it is. I didn't even mean to talk about it for this long. It's
It's
just kind of
not
one of those
fun
things.
anymore. It's boring. I don't want to watch players have 3-point contests. I don't care. Play
Yeah,
like you
exactly.
mean it.
Also, I don't know. I mean, here's how I feel. Okay, there's a lot of NBA players I don't like.
Amen.
And watching them be ball hogs is really annoying.
Yeah.
If I have to watch Jason Tatum take 40 shots in an All Star game again, because I'm pretty sure he shot the ball like 45 times last year, I'm not going to be pleased because I don't care about Jason Tatum. I don't like Jason Tatum. So if I have to see him shoved down my throat in an All-Star game, I'm going to be pissed. That's just my thought.
I don't like Tatum either. I can't hate on him as much as I used to though, because I came upon a stumbling revelation. He is a Derrick Rose enthusiast, so I by law cannot hate him as hard as I typically do
That's
because I don't
funny.
like him and he plays for the Celtics. But I give him a little levity now.
That is funny.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the NBA then. Because we're, like I said, more than halfway through the season. We've got some teams who are shockingly good and shockingly bad. Let's kind of go back and forth here. Who's a team that pops out to you first off the top of your head that you want to talk about here at this point in the season? What's the one team surprisingly good or bad that you're like, we need to talk about them first and foremost?
Pistons,
The Pistons, baby. Cade
surprisingly
Cunningham.
good. Like
Do you like this Pistons team first off?
I do. I think they're kind of them and the Thunder are like the epitome of a solid young core.
Exactly.
Like I don't watch a lot of Pistons games, but I keep up with the standings and like what players do and stuff. Cade's balling. I think it's Amen Thompson on the Pistons, right?
Osir.
Osir, yeah,
Yep.
he's a beast. They just have really good players and coaching. Like I didn't expect that going into the year because they're like what sixth right now in the
Yeah.
East, which is that's a playoff spot. That's pretty good. And you got teams like well, okay. All right, hold on. Now, I was gonna say like the Heat and the Sixers, but now that I kind of understand their circumstances,
Yeah, true.
it kind of makes a little bit more sense. But
Here's the thing about the Pistons that I like. They have their young core, like you said, right? Their starting five has three young guys who are there every single game. Cade, Jade Ivey, Jalen Duren. All three of those guys I think are really good. I think those are really solid guys that you can build a core around.
yeah,
Then you've got your guys who have been around for a little bit, who come in and out of the lineup. Tim Hardaway being one of them, Tobias Harris being the other one. Those are two guys who have a lot of experience, who are still valuable NBA players. Obviously, Tobias is averaging 13 points. Tim Hardaway is averaging 10. Like, those guys are still decent. Those guys are still good. They still put up numbers, right? Then you have your kind of extra guys, right? The extra set of young guys who kind of fill out the roster and could potentially be something even more. And I like a lot of these guys too. Also, you mentioned Thompson. Asur Thompson is really good. Ron Holland has shown some flashes. Marcus Sasser has shown some flashes. Isaiah Stewart has shown how to get into like insane fights with LeBron James. That guy's really cool, charging at him like that.
yes,
But like,
sir.
you just have these young guys who build out the rest of the core, and that's just a good foundation for a young team. And then you got Cade, who just took a step up this year. I think Cade, I was talking about Cade as like people were talking about him as a bust. I always thought he was pretty good. Personally, I thought he was going
He
to be
just plays for
good.
the Pistons.
Yeah, you just got to give him some time. Like, he was going to develop into the player that he is right now. And now he's an all-star, averaging 25 points a game. Like, he's putting up great numbers. So I like the Pistons shout. Do you think this team has a legitimate chance at least winning a first round East matchup? Because right now they're the
No,
sixth seed.
no, no shot.
They would play the Knicks first round.
They
If
wouldn't play
they
the
can get
they wouldn't play the Cavs first round.
no, they're the sixth seed right now.
Yeah, it's not 1-6.
No, it's
Oh no, they'll
1 and
play it.
8.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're
Yeah,
right. Okay, yeah, they
yeah.
play the Knicks. Oh yeah, no shot they win. No. I mean, they're good. I
What if they
just
get to the 5 seed and then they play the Pacers first round?
okay, well that's doable. I think
That is doable.
Pacers and Pistons are kind of benefactors of playing in the East. Because I'm looking at these teams right now: Wizards, Hornets, Raptors, Nets, Sixers, Bulls, Heat, Hawks, Magic. The
Yeah,
Magic are kind of okay, but all those teams are trash, and they're just Pacers and Pistons are the better teams of the trash. They're not bad, but you know, 30 and 23 for Indiana, 29-26 for Detroit. It's like,
yeah.
you know. But if the Pistons slot up to the 5 seed and they play Indiana first round, then yeah, I could see them making it to the second round.
I just think it'd be fun. I think Cade Cunningham's really good, and seeing him in the playoffs is where we're going to really tell how good he can be, right? That's what we needed to see out of Shea last year. We saw it. We
Yeah.
know he's good. Now he's taking a step up. I kind of want to see the same thing out of Cade. Get him in the playoffs, see what he can do. Then we see how that takes him from from there, right?
Right. Yeah. I
So
mean, I'd
I'm
much
looking forward
rather
to it.
watch Detroit than Indiana.
Yes, very true.
I'd
Yeah.
completely forgotten Indiana made it to the conference finals last year because I think Jalen Brunson got hurt in the second round, right?
Because everyone on the Knicks got hurt.
Yeah, because they were showing a flashback of last year. It said conference finals, Celtics Pacers. I was like, that didn't happen. I'm like, oh no, it did happen, didn't it?
Yeah,
They got
it,
smoked.
it did. All star
Yeah, I
Pascal
forgot
Siakam.
about that. Pascal Siakam, oh brother,
Just the greatest under the radar,
holy
underrated
mid,
player of all time.
most aggressively average player in existence.
Most aggressively average, good, really good average player. He's impressive. All right, my team I want to talk about. Let's talk about the Cavs. Let's stay in the East here. The Cavs are
Mm,
44-10, which real quick, I
that's
keep thinking
solid.
about this because the Thunder and the Cavs are 44-10, which feels like an absurd record. And then you remember that the Warriors literally only lost 9 games in a season.
Yep.
I've never realized how impressive that was until this season for some reason. When I keep seeing the Cavs and the Thunder at the level that they are at, and then being like, oh wait, the Warriors only lost 9 games the entire season. So credit to what the Cavs and the Thunder are doing, but when you compare that to the Warriors, it's absurd, and I can't even like fathom it properly anymore. But
Yeah.
the Cavs are really good. I like everything that they're doing. I've actually turned around on Donovan Mitchell a little bit this season. I was very anti Mitchell, but what are your thoughts on this team? Because I think they just have so much room to go up, especially after acquiring a guy like DeAndre Hunter at the deadline. I think that's one of
I
the
was gonna
sneaky
say.
underrated moves of the offseason or of the trade deadline. Because DeAndre Hunter is a really good player who could easily start for them right away. So, what are your thoughts on the Cavs when it comes to not only the fact that they're tied for the best record in the league, but could they just win the NBA championship?
I do think DeAndre Hunter was probably. I know all the talk is about Luca and AD and stuff,
Yeah,
but I think DeAndre Hunter was outside of that was probably like the best move a team could make. Because when you add a
100%.
guy like that to Cleveland, that's big time. Like they really needed a guy that was long and athletic like that at the three.
Yeah.
So I think that was really, really solid for them. They kind of remind me of like a 2016 Hawks team a little bit, 2015 Hawks. I forget which year. Like the Jeff T, Kyle
Oh
Korver,
yeah,
Paul
with just
Millsap.
the stacked starting lineup all the way through, right?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
they're solid. Like they're okay defensively. And well, Cleveland's a little better defensively because of Evan Mobley. But
Yeah.
like, Atlanta was a really good three-point shooting team. Cleveland's a really good three-point shooting team. They just I there's no LeBron in the East anymore though. So
Yeah.
I'm not considering Tatum that level. Milwaukee's not really good enough at that level to be considered a threat to Cleveland. So I could see them going all the way, honestly.
Here's the thing about Cleveland. I think people are still underrating this team. I think they're just going, oh, Donovan Mitchell's a regular season player, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley. We haven't seen him in big situations. With DeAndre Hunter there, their starting five is Garland, Mitchell, Hunter, Mobley, Allen. That's 2 absolutely dynamic scoring guards
Right.
and 3 incredibly long athletic wings and center who can play great defense. That is a great setup to have if those guys are going to be playing 35 minutes a game in the playoffs, right?
Hmm.
Like right now, they're only playing 31 minutes. That number is going to be boosted up to 35. Okay. And then you look at the guys off their bench. Max Strus is a heat check guy who has been valuable in playoff situations in the past. Caris LeVert has had his moments, especially bubble Caris LeVert. We miss those days. Ty Jerome is like just a really reliable backup point guard that a lot of teams wish they could have. And then you got guys like Okoro, who are still young, Sam Merrill, Dean Wade, Niang, who was starting before, or not, he wasn't really starting as much, but he was getting more minutes with DeAndre Hunter being there. But yeah, this team just feels like it shapes out perfectly for what you would expect a championship winner to be. And that's what scares me if I'm another East team, right?
Does experience hinder their progress though?
I mean,
Like top to bottom, when you
probably
look at their roster, is this like a savvy veteran team, or is this a bunch like a well put together team?
it's
Because that matters in the playoffs. Like against Boston, that's going to matter. Against New York, that's going to matter. Against Milwaukee, that would matter.
yeah, true. The only guy
So
you
I
have on
I
this team who
like
has
them
real
as a
experience is
really
Mitchell.
solid young team, but
Yeah. The only guy on this team with the real experience is Mitchell, right?
right.
And his playoff experience hasn't been the best in the past. So it's not like we can really sit here and be like, yeah, Mitchell was stone cold riser in the playoffs. I don't think anyone would say that, but I don't know.
But
You
it
look
is
at
the
the
East, though.
it is the East. It's an easier path, and right now it looks like they're going to be the one seed probably. Boston is 5.5 games back of them at this point, and so as long as Boston stays in that 2 seed, they're not going to have to worry about Boston until the finals. Like Cleveland's path could look like, I don't know, Atlanta and then Indiana
Yeah, I
until
mean,
Boston in the Eastern Conference Finals where they have home court advantage. That feels pretty easy to me. So
I think they're confirmed for like conference finals at least. I don't see anyone that's going to upset them in rounds one and two. There's no way.
yeah, unless you get like the Bucks at the 4 or something like that, you have to play them with their experience. But even
That
then,
could
their
be
team's
tricky.
kind of in
Yeah,
shambles right now.
yeah.
I mean, we don't know what to think about that team. I guess we have to see more. I don't know. I don't know what to think about that team. That team's weird. All right, another team. What's another team that comes to your mind, good or bad?
Clippers. I I was kind of I was gonna say Rockets, but I've been thinking about their young core from like last year, and they kind of carried over, so I'm not really
Yeah,
surprised they're doing well. The Clippers are kind of shocking me a little bit, especially with all they've been going through with Kawhi. Harden's been playing really good. Norman Powell's been playing fantastic.
Norman Powell should have been
They
an All Star this year. That dude's been incredible.
Yeah, what's he averaging like 24 and like
Yeah, he's
five?
averaging almost 25 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Like those are good numbers.
That's pretty good as a second option.
Yeah,
When you're a second option, James Harden, you getting 24 a game. That's pretty good.
I agree.
Picked up Ben Simmons. Uh, mm, I, no pun intended. I think the ship has kind of sailed on him, but whatever. We'll see, I guess.
Can I
Yeah, I like that team. I think they're really solid.
I think the Ben Simmons and Bogdan for that Bogdan Bogdanovich, obviously another addition for them at the deadline. I
Hmm.
think both of those are actually valuable guys for them. I just
I
think
think
they
they can
need
be.
guys who can throw into different situations, right? Like they kind of got their core who they know they are, but what happens when that core doesn't work? You kind of just have to throw out different situations, and Ben Simmons and Bogdanovich kind of do that, right? At least different from what they're used to, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
I
So
like Ben Simmons as a defender to substitute
exactly,
for Kawhi whenever he's not playing. I think that's good for them. He's got the size and the physicality.
yeah.
Does he have the
They
health though?
That we'll see. Then again, we're talking about the Clippers who have Kawhi Leonard. So we're always talking about their health. Yeah,
Their brand new stadium was just a hospital all along.
true. Yeah, I don't know what to think about this team. It's weird. Batum has been like absolutely miserably bad. So like they still have pieces that are just actively not helping them in any way, shape, or form. If they can get some sort of value out of guys like that, Chris Dunn, Terrence
That's
Mann
why
hasn't
they're
been great.
surprising me. Because I
Yeah.
think adjacent to Cleveland, they're not a very well put together team. They just kind of
Oh, not
work.
at all.
So that's why I'm surprised they're sitting at the sixth seed above. And these teams have gone through some stuff recently, but like Minnesota has all their guys are hurt. Dallas, Luca, LOL, Warriors, Suns, and they're still atop all those teams by like at least a couple of games. So that's why they're kind of stood out to me.
True.
Lakers did too a little bit, but that one makes a little more sense.
Let me ask you this. So let's combine these two teams together in this conversation. Who are you more surprised is doing better, the Rockets or the Grizzlies?
Rockets.
Why? Is it just because they're young?
A little bit. I didn't think Dylan Brooks would have the impact on this team that he's had.
Yeah.
I knew Ime Udoka was a good coach and like a player's coach. He'd get those guys together. But just on paper, when I look at the team, because I've watched some of their games, it's young talent, but I don't know. I didn't think they'd play as cohesively and like as well oiled as they do, if that makes sense. Like you
Yeah.
watch their games, they rotate the ball, they're helping on help side defense stuff, they're rotating. Like they play good basketball, but I just didn't think with the players they have it would work as well as it does. Especially Dylan Brooks offensively. He'll like explode some nights, and I didn't. That's carried into some wins. I didn't really expect that. But I knew Jalen Green is good. I knew Amen Thompson was good. The Senguner, he's solid.
Oh,
But
the Gooner's good. The
yeah,
Gooner's good. He's
Gooner's
good.
pretty good, huh?
He's a good player. Here's the thing, because I would have said the Grizzlies, and we'll
Is
talk
that
about the
surprising
Grizzlies.
though?
No, it's not. But well, and I'll get
Is
to
the
the
two
Grizzlies
seed?
and
You mean the two seed surprising, or that they're a good team?
just the fact that they're where they are right now in this part of the season.
I
And
mean,
we'll
realistically, the West is really neck and neck, and their only competition is the Thunder because they're half
yeah,
a game ahead of the Nuggets, 2.5 games ahead of like Houston. Like all the games are by a close margin, so they're not like blowing teams out or like
no, not at all.
because their position could change in like 3 games. They could be like the 5 seed
Well, yeah,
by like a week
exactly.
from now.
Any of these teams could be, right? The
Yeah,
teams that we're talking about in this core. The reason why, and I'll get to the Grizzlies part of this in a second, but the reason why I would say that I'm more surprised that I'm less surprised that the Rockets are here is because exactly what you said. All of their young guys we know are good, right? We know Jalen Green's good. We know Shengun's good. We know Amen Thompson is good. Jabari Smith has been hurt for a good while now, and he's about to come back, actually, is what they're saying, like post All-Star break. We know he's good. All of their guys we know are good, and they're young, and they're only going to get better. So that's why I'm not surprised that they're at this position because their team fills out really well. Like when you look at it with all the young guys they have. And then you add guys like Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, who can just play off the bench, and Fred VanVleet, who has that veteran leadership. Same thing with Dylan Brooks. That intensity has just brought out more of him. And then you put him behind a coach like Udoka, and they're going to be good. Like that's why I'm not surprised that they're here, is because they're young, and we know their young guys are good. So when that all works together and you got the right coach in place, it's going to work out pretty well for you. So I like this
I
team.
think I think I'm more surprised because I anticipated Minnesota, Dallas, and Phoenix to be better than them going
Yeah,
into the year, and they're not. So I think because they've kind of taken those three teams' place is why I'm so surprised. But
I think that's fair. And now to the Grizzlies' point of this, because what has surprised me the most with the Grizzlies, and if you listen back to to the preseason podcast that me and you did, I expected a huge rise out of the Grizzlies. I
yeah,
expected them to bounce back massively. I expected them to be one of these top teams. I expected them to be back in this situation. What I didn't expect is one, I didn't expect Ja to come back and just immediately still just be this productive and almost change his game in a way that works better for the team chemistry. But I also didn't expect Desmond Bain to keep up that level of production. And I didn't expect Jaren Jackson to take another step up because that dude has still impressed me even more than he did the last couple seasons, even when he won Defensive Player of the Year.
yeah.
He has still just risen his game much more. And I look at it now and I go, Ja, Desmond Bain, Jaren Jackson, who are all probably playing at the same level, an all-star caliber level. You got three guys who are borderline all-stars. That's a really good core that could do some real damage in the playoffs. Do you
Yeah.
see the same thing out of it? And it's why you're also like, because you said you were more surprised by the Rockets. Is it the same reasoning that you're less surprised by the Grizzlies being in this situation?
No, I knew they'd be good. I think for the most part, they've kept a lot of their core and what made them a good team these past couple years.
Yeah.
Their only problem was John Morant getting out of trouble, not getting injured, because they were a top two seed when he was playing, when he was healthy, like a couple years ago. The only
Fair.
reason they fell off was because he got hurt. So now that he's back and they have most of their core, I think I'm not really surprised. I am surprised, like to your point about Jaren Jackson, he's taken a really big step, becoming a better player than I thought he was going to be originally, especially from what he was when he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, it's not entirely surprising that they're as good as they are. I don't know what I had them picked at before the year, but I projected them to be like a top 3 or 4 seed team. So it's
Yeah.
not out of the realm.
I think a lot of people were on the train of like, they'll be back. They'll figure it out.
Because most people are
Um,
saying, okay, Thunder 1, Nuggets probably 2, and then like Wolves 3 or
yeah.
whatever, then Grizzlies, if Jaw's healthy, like Rockets, Mavericks, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
they're
true.
always in the mix. It was just about health, I think.
Yeah. We'll have to see how that plays itself out. They also just got Gigi Jackson back, who I actually kind of like. He's actually pretty good. This Jalen Wells kid has also been good for them. Santi Aldama, who's been on like 3 different teams, 4 different teams. They just, they got a lot of guys who are good and fill out the team really well, surrounding the three guys who are potential all stars, right? And that was their recipe for success 2 years ago. Now it's just about getting back to that point, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this team's good. We'll see how they continue the rest of the season and if they can stay healthy or not. Because Jaren Jackson has played the entire season. I don't think he's missed a game, which is really incredible for him because we usually don't see that out of him. So if he can keep that up, they'll be pretty good. I guarantee that.
They're a contender for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Any other team shocking you? Any other team standing out?
You see.
I don't. I feel like
Everything
I
else
could.
is kind of what I thought it would be. I mean,
I'd
I
like to
thought the
give a quick
Suns would be
shout out to the
better.
Pelicans.
Okay, well, again, that's an injury thing. Zion
Yeah,
is fat, and then DeJounte got hurt, unfortunately. Like that's just you can't really control that.
yeah,
Otherwise, they're a
that's
good team. But and then they traded Brandon Ingram. But
yeah. If I would have told you like before the season where the starting five was potentially DeJounte, CJ, Trey Murphy, who's taken a huge step up and been really good this year, Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson, to now it's like Zion's only played 18 games. Brandon Ingram only played 18 games and then you traded him. DeJounte Murray is out for the year, right?
yep,
Yeah, he's out for the
Achilles.
year. And Trey Murphy's balling. Like, Trey Murphy is by far the best part of this team. If I would have told you that
At
that
this
five
point,
is now
yeah,
just Trey Murphy being the best player on this team, you'd probably be like, yeah, they only have 13 wins.
yeah. I didn't think they'd be bottom of the Western Conference by the
Neither did
All-Star
I.
break, but I
Yeah,
didn't think their entire team would get hurt.
exactly. I also kind of thought the same about Charlotte. But then again, Charlotte, they lost Brandon Ingram or Brandon Miller, right?
Yeah, they did
Yeah.
actually, and LaMelo has been out for handfuls of games.
Yeah, LaMelo's been banged up. I mean, like, you look at their top guys, and it's like LaMelo's played 33 games, Brandon Miller played 27, Miles Bridges played 38, and then who are the rest of their guys? Mark Williams, who couldn't pass a physical on his trade to the Lakers.
The domestic abuser,
Yeah, true. So
Miles
yeah, their
Bridges.
team does not fill out well.
They got Seth
Um,
Curry.
anyone else in the West? The Suns. The Suns are weird. I don't even know what to say about the Suns. I
I
think
don't
it would
get
be
that
right if
team
they
at
missed the
all.
playoffs.
I don't get that team at all. I don't know what their deal is.
They have no point guard. We talked about this all of last season. They have no
I
point guard.
get that, but like KD and Book can still be able to make plays for you, and like even Beal to an extent. I don't get why no one can step up and take that role. It's so confusing to me.
I have a Devin Booker take.
Oh
And
boy.
it's not my old Devin Booker take, which is that Devin Booker is the most overrated player in the league and all he is a volume scorer. It's still along those lines because that still lines up. Devin Booker is a worse version of Donovan Mitchell.
Damn, he's
in
less
a
athletic.
I would rather have Donovan Mitchell in basically every sense of the word that Devin Booker does well, but Donovan Mitchell either does better or he just cares more and wants to win more and has a little bit more dog in him to where I'm like, I want Donovan Mitchell over Devin Booker 9 times out of 10. That's how I feel.
That's a fair take. Uh, I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with you, but that's fair.
Neither do I, but I'm going to clip it and they're going to see Hatsune Miku there and they're going to go, this guy knows basketball.
Oh, this guy knows ball. Hold on, wait a minute. He's kind of cooking. I think Mitchell kind of reminds me of like D Wade a little bit in
Oh,
certain
100%.
regard.
Yeah.
That's why I like him. I like his offensive game a lot. And he plays hard on defense, so that's good. That's something
Oh,
Booker does not do. So
yeah,
that's already
100%.
bonus points.
All right. Let's talk about the trades a little bit because we've now had a couple weeks. We've calmed down. The Luka trade is still the worst in NBA history,
For
but
sure.
like at least we see it and we understand it. And we also see that Luka's not 270. he
What?
looked
No
like
way. That's crazy.
he looked like a big boy, but he was not 270. That's for damn sure.
LeBron isn't even 270. I don't know what they're on about. I,
So coming off that trade, we now have Luka on the Lakers who sit in the five seed. We have AD who's now hurt, and they're saying he could miss like a month or two on the Mavericks, who are the 8th seed. Do you see either of these teams being like, because I think this is more of a change for the future for both these teams than it is for right now.
Absolutely.
But do you see any of these teams' trajectory changing this season and helping them try to win a title? Because that's why the Mavericks made this trade, according to Nico Harrison, and the Lakers just got Luka Doncic. So, how do you feel about this season when it comes to both those teams trying to compete for a title after this trade?
Dallas narrowed their window from like 8 or 9 years to like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
I think if AD plays and they get all their guys back healthy in time for the playoffs, I think that's a championship caliber team because, of course, they went to the finals with the same team except for, the best player now. But I mean, I like AD on the Mavs. I don't think the move of getting Anthony Davis on the Mavs was bad. I just think giving up Luka for it was abysmal. But we're here now, so I like what Dallas can do with Kyrie and AD in them and Klay
yeah,
Thompson. It just it just really narrowed their window to be contenders because AD's like what 31, Kyrie's like 30, 31-ish.
yeah. You got these
Luka
guys near
was
the end of their primes.
25.
Yeah.
It just but I Lakers is a long-term thing. If someone offers you Luka Doncic, you're not going to say no to that. So very obviously, I know why Lakers did it, and that's like a long-term thing. I don't think, no,
And
I
so
don't think they can
here's
contend this year, but
Yeah,
you
so
got
here's what I'm
Luca.
asking you, right? Is like, obviously the Lakers did this for the long term thing where it's like, hey, we have no draft picks, but now we have Luka fucking Doncic, so we're
Yeah,
fine for the next 8 years
100%.
until we recoup our draft picks, right? Like we're gonna be fine because we have one of the best 5 players in the league for the next 8 years. Simple as that. But they still did it to try and win this year. They're still on a clock with LeBron James. They only got a couple more years left of him, maybe 10 more years based off of who he is as a person, but we don't know yet.
8 or
Here's the
10.
thing. Yeah, exactly. 8 to 10 years for LeBron for sure. Luca, if he keeps eating cheeseburgers and smoking cigarettes, he's got maybe 6 years left.
Probably like 4 to 5.
Yeah, but you put these two guys on the same team right now, and you still expect them to go out and win games right now. So do you
I
really
don't.
like? I don't like this team how it looks on paper.
No.
They don't have a point guard and they don't have a center. So like I mean the point guard they have is Luka Doncic and LeBron James. So they don't really need a point guard, so that kind of solves
Right.
itself. As with like the Suns don't have a guy like that, but they don't have a center. And they don't have a backup center, and they don't have a backup big, and they don't have a backup basically anything outside of Dalton Connect, who they tried to trade.
I think having no big is going to hurt them long term in the West, especially if they're actually trying to contend because there's so many good bigs in the West that are going to
Yes,
expose them in the playoffs. So that's kind of their biggest downside right now.
exactly.
Who's their center? Jackson Hayes. He's like
Jackson Hayes, yes.
eh. And they picked up Alex Len a couple days ago, who's super eh.
Yes. Who's guarding Jokic?
No one.
Who's guarding Shangun?
Okay, that's not fair. You
Oh,
can give arguments for every other player, not Jokic.
yeah.
We need
Okay,
to
Jokic. Everyone
we
switched
need to
Jokic,
probably
yes.
have a discussion about Jokic top 10 all-time considerations at this point.
Well,
I
he's
think
going
we're
to get
there.
robbed of a second MVP where,
Oh, for sure.
like,
No, he'll be the most voter fatigued MVP ever, outside of like LeBron. 100%.
yeah. Yeah, LeBron, Jokic. If Jokic doesn't win MVP this year, he'll have 3 MVPs in 5 years and a title in that time frame, where he could have had 5 straight MVPs.
Yeah, no,
So
100%.
yeah,
I completely agree. But
and
it's
a
voter
time frame
fatigue.
where 2 years where his second best player was basically injured the entire 2 seasons, and he still won
Yeah.
MVP during those years. So who's to say that they wouldn't have won a title during that stretch too? I don't know. We can have the Jokic discussion will continue to be had by me for a long time to come.
The
Trust
Nuggets fan
me.
is coming out.
This isn't even a Nuggets fan. It's literally just Jokic is the best player in the NBA. Like it's not.
True.
You could give MVP to Shea. That's fine. I actually
He,
like Shea. I'm a big Shea guy. I've been saying this for years. But to say that he's the MVP over Jokic is just wrong. It's just wrong. But
I
he's going
think
to get it. So
Shea
good for him.
Shea deserves it, just not in this Jokic era.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
realistically, you give it to Jokic like every year at this point.
Yeah. But
But if
like,
they give it to Shea, which they probably will, it's like, okay, they're number one seed. He's averaging like 30 and like 6, whatever. That's
yeah,
cool. But it should be Jokic.
I agree. But like, even if you're the Lakers and you're like, all right, who's guarding Shangoon? Who's guarding
Hmm
Jaren Jackson? Like, who is stopping these other dominant bigs who are in the Western Conference? Who's
Yeah.
stopping AD?
Yeah,
If you have
I
to match up
that
against AD in the playoffs, who's stopping him?
that could be a big problem for them. I mean,
Yeah, I
they
don't know.
just
I
they
just
they don't match up against Western Conference teams with good big men. It
exactly.
just they're going to get exposed for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a glaring issue. Even like, and I'm thinking about this from a Timberwolves standpoint, where it's like Rudy Gobert is not an offensive threat whatsoever. But when Rudy Gobert doesn't have to care about the other big man and could just play like this almost spy over the top, where he's just watching whoever's driving into the paint, that's a dangerous player. That's a
Yeah.
tough player to play against. So I think it's going to hurt them in the long run. I actually would have liked the Mark Williams trade for them if Mark Williams would have been able to stay healthy. But obviously that trade didn't happen, and Mark Williams is still hurt. Apparently, that's why he couldn't pass physical. So yeah,
Look, if the Lakers lose, I'm happy, so I'm not complaining.
agreed. I hate the Lakers. I hope they lose every time.
Oh, dude, me too.
I agree. The Celtics are giving me a little bit red flags, but I don't know how much we need to talk about them yet because they're still 39-16. If we come back in like 2 weeks and do this podcast again, and the Celtics are like 500 after the All-Star break, then we need to have a legit discussion. But right now,
That'd
I
be a
think
little
it's just kind of
alarming.
like yellow light, right? There's like slight concern there,
They
but
can
they've still been
coast. They're
exactly.
in the East. It's fine as long as they finish the top 4 or 5 team. They'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they could just kind of coast right now, so
That's
they're
usually
fine.
how it goes coming off a championship. You kind of coast
Yeah,
in the season, then when it's time to lock in, you play well in the playoffs.
exactly. That's what LeBron did for 90% of his career.
Exactly. As long as you got in, there's a chance.
Yeah, exactly. All right. I think that's all the teams. We talked about the underrated trades. We talked about the trades that really matter. I don't think there's anything else that we really need to talk about. No, I don't think so. Right? Do you have anything? What do you think?
What do you
You want
think
to talk
about
about?
Jimmy to the Warriors?
I think that it helps them, but I don't know by how much.
You don't think they're contenders or anything?
I don't think so. No.
Okay,
Like,
I agree.
I don't think this moves them from a play-in team to a contender. I think this moves them to a play-in team to a slightly higher play-in team, or maybe a team that just barely gets an automatic spot in the playoffs. Do you feel any differently?
Yeah, I mean, they're 10 right now. Kings aren't that good. Mavs aren't that good without AD, and Wolves have an
Yeah.
injury plague. So they can creep into a higher play-in or early, late playoff spot. But I don't see them making a ton of noise if they're matched up against like Denver. They won the season series with Houston, but Denver, they're getting smoked. Grizzlies, I think they get smoked.
Yeah, exactly.
So, best case scenario for them is like maybe second round, but I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I think best case scenario for them is getting to like the 6th seed and then potentially upsetting someone. So, but yeah, I don't know. The 76ers are another team we could talk about, but they've just been injury plagued. Tyrese Maxey's been so incredible this year, though.
He's been really, really. He's the glowing star for that team. Like Embiid is whatever he is. Paul George sucks. Jared McCain getting hurt was a big blow for them. He was
Definitely
playing
hurts them.
really, really well. Probably
Yeah.
rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Um, that was big. And now if it's just Tyrese Maxey, Embiid plays like one in every 8 or 9 games. Like it's no surprise they are where they are at 20 and 34. But
Tyrese Maxey might be first team all NBA right now.
he won't get the nod because of their record, but I could see that.
But yeah, like that's just how good he's been. Like he has just been that good. He's
They'll
fourth
probably
in
give it to
points.
like Brunson, but I think Maxi could. I think he would earn it.
I think Shea, Yoke, and Giannis are probably locks for first team NBA right now.
Yeah, 100%.
And then it becomes an argument between like the other guard could be Maxey, could be Edwards, could be Brunson, Lillard, even maybe. You also have to play enough games. That's the other thing to consider. But I think all those guys will play enough games. And then the other forward spot between guys like Tatum, KD. KD's been really good this year. Cade, first team All NBA.
Not first team, no. I'd be really surprised they gave him a nod for first team, honestly.
I wouldn't mind that. That'd be sick.
I wouldn't mind it. I'd just be surprised when you look at
Yeah.
all the other guards in the East and the NBA. I don't know.
Yeah. It just feels like three guys are locked right now for first team All NBA. And so it's like, all right, who else are we throwing in there? And I think Maxi deserves the nod.
Definitely. I just don't think he'll get the nod. I think they'll give it to Brunson.
Yeah. I don't like Brunson.
What do you mean? When you like Brunson, what's wrong with Brunson?
Uh, my problem with Brunson stems back from the Villanova days
Oh my
where
God.
he was voted as best player in college basketball that year, and he wasn't even the best player on his team. Like Mikal Bridges was more important to that Villanova team than Jalen Brunson was, and I stand by that to this day. And I still love Mikal Bridges. I don't like his 3-point celebration though. Hatsune Miku, how do you feel about the 3-point gun stance thing that Mikal Bridges does?
What kind of gun stance is it?
You know what he does? He does like the three fingers, but he like points it straight forward like this.
That's
You know
kind
what
of
I'm talking about?
weak.
It's
I
like
like the
his
one when
like
they hold it
iconic
like a
one.
rifle. That's cool. You know, like what they do on first downs, like what they used to do.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, his is literally just like it's almost like sticking out a gun, but it's just like you keep the fingers wide. You keep the pointer and middle fingers wide.
that's whack.
Yeah, but you hold it like a gun. That's what his 3-point thing is. Does anyone we need to bring back 3-point celebrations.
We have him. What do you mean?
Who how many people have one right now? Like that they actually like
LaMelo,
use.
Steph, Dame.
What's LaMelo's?
He does the up and down arm thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he does like the ice in the veins with like the three,
He
like
does that after
the
every
traditional.
3?
Huh?
He does that after every 3?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah. His is iconic. He's probably has the most popular one. I think a lot of players do that one now.
Oh, I actually didn't even know that.
Yeah, LaMelo, Brunson's. He does like the three mask, whatever that is. Uh, Steph
Well, yeah,
does the hand slap chest, finger
yeah.
point up.
Steph's been doing that for his entire
That's a
career.
classic.
Yeah,
Yeah, players have them.
yeah, that's fair. Someone needs to bring back the Mellow. The Mellow one of my
Oh no, you
favorites of all
can't.
time.
You can't.
That's one of my
Who would?
favorite ones.
The only player that could do it would be LaMelo, but he has his own.
Yeah, fair.
I mean,
What if
people
like
do it
Giannis
like
did
in
it?
homage. Yeah.
Just the random times that Giannis makes a 3, he just starts pulling out the Mellow.
Good for him. He deserve. If he hits a three, he deserves it.
That'd be funny. Yeah,
Mellow one was tight
he
though.
gets the pass. Mellow one was tight.
Yeah, Giannis gets the pass.
True. All right, that does it for NBA. We're gonna be doing NBA every other week or so leading up to the playoffs. Sometimes it'll be with Hatsune Miku. Sometimes it'll be with Jacob. It's staring at us menacingly. Hatsune Miku is just really raring to talk ball. It's even got the little headset on too. That's how you can hear it
Yeah,
through the
she has a
podcast.
microphone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we'll be doing NBA every other week. Jakey Buckets will be revived from the dead, and then we'll have Hatsune Miku. And those will be our basketball commentators. No, just every week you need like a different like plushie.
I think I can manage that. I think I got a couple lying around.
That'd be funny. Just every week we just pull out a different plushie for you to talk as. It's like you're like a VTuber.
Oh Christ, dude. That's awful. I'm like a ventriloquist.
Chandler the VTuber for
No,
the
no, yeah,
Every Sports
VTuber is
Today
way more
podcast.
appropriate, actually. Oh, hell yeah, dude. That's actually pretty good.
Yeah, you're 100% a VTuber.
I'm gonna get the cease and desist from Sega.
You're actually it's a V podcaster. It's a whole new
Oh,
type of
true.
VTuber. You're
True, true,
only there
true.
for podcasts. Actually, we do post these on YouTube now. So, you're a V podcast YouTuber. Sure, that just sounds like a mouthful. All right, that's NBA for you. We're gonna go watch the NBA All-Star Game. So if anything crazy happens during the All-Star Game and we didn't talk about it on this podcast, it's because we recorded it before because we didn't actually care to talk about the All-Star Game. So, all right, bye Hatsune Miku. I see you waving to us. Bye Chandler, the VTuber behind Hatsune Miku. We will see you eventually coming back
My
for the
dead heads.
NBA.
I'll be around, don't worry.
Yep.
Leave a like on the video. I
Leave a
always
like,
do. You should
subscribe,
too.
do whatever comes best. Actually, the first NBA podcast we did, the urgent care for the Doncic trade, most viewed on YouTube. So
Really?
people like NBA, baby. We're here. NFL sucks. Ratings aren't down for the NBA, and everyone cares about the NBA more than the NFL. So
Hatsune Miku wants you to like and subscribe. Leave a comment.
listen to Hatsune Miku, guys. All right, we'll see you guys later.